sound effects that they have, and I like the guy in the background that talks while you're shooting the deers. It's pretty fun.
The mini games are incredibly entertaining now. It's my favorite part of the story.
From over here, but it's fun to play on like a 10-minute break, or you know, with two people, it's like amazing. It's like
Big Buck Hunter, believe it or not, is actually one of the most successful arcade games out there. And the reason is quite simply because it appeals to the widest range of people. While it is true that not everybody actually goes out hunting, it just seems to appeal to everybody in the same way that bowling or air hockey has a tendency to do. It's a simple game that's fun to pick up. It's a simple concept to catch. There's a deer on the screen, you shoot it, and you don't want to hit a doe.
I like it. I mean, it's pretty simple, straightforward. You're shooting deer. Aim for the things with the antlers.
Yeah.
Don't aim for the things without the antlers.
that's basically it. For me, it's just a really fun game in general, and the hillbillies on it are funny as hell. So
Big Buck Hunter operates off of a light gun. Now what makes a light gun different than many of the other guns you get is basically the light gun is not so much shooting any information, but rather it's reading information off the screen. Now this is really great because as a result there is no lag between the gun and the screen. But the downside is the screen itself can affect your gameplay. As you can see, all I have to do is tap on that machine and I can totally mess with the screen. And as a result, the light gun isn't always going to read as well as it should, because depending on how the screen is doing on that particular day will completely change how efficient the light gun actually is.
I like it being a light gun game, except when you have to shoot something that's on the far extreme sides or in the corners. Everything else, it's a little bit off on the accuracy, but not by much. And you really don't have to worry about recalibrating the gun, it just points you.
that's the biggest thing that I've noticed with light guns versus sensor guns is that when you move the gun one way, it's not like trailing behind you the whole time. And with the light gun, it's just right there, and right when you pull the trigger, that's exactly where it is. The disadvantages is, for me, the side of the screen is always hard to get. So pretty much you have like the screen right here, and then the area in which it's easiest to shoot the buck is like, you know, right in there. So you gotta get like 8 shots off while it's right there, and then if it's like over here, you're pretty much screwed. So that's what I've noticed about it.
Now something that really stands out about Big Buck Hunter 2 is the fact that it's got a really interesting sense of humor. For instance, the announcer in this game is one of the most stereotypical characters there is. He just sounds like a raging redneck with this thick accent and hilarious phrases. Now Big Buck Hunter 2 does offer several different play styles. While they all feel pretty much the same, they are uniquely different in their own right. Basically, you can choose between 2 different ways of playing. You can either play a very long game, which is where you will tackle an entire region of either the United States or Canada, or you can play a shorter game, which is what most people will be playing, because it's much cheaper to play a shorter game, where instead of tackling the whole region, you will just tackle one state within that region. After you play that, you'll be given a chance to play some more just by putting in more money into the machine.
The options is basically the different places that you can play at. All of them have different seasons, different times of the year, and they also have different type of animals that you can shoot. You have Canada, you have Midwest, you have East.
I actually think it's pretty cool that you can hunt in different areas. There's the South, Midwest, West, Canada. Personally, I'm fond of Canada because the elk are easier to see. But that's just me.
Now the real hidden gem in Big Buck Hunter 2 is its multiplayer function. At first look, this machine really looks like a one-player game. There's one gun, it's a small machine, even only one start button. But once you put in enough credits into the machine, you will be given an option to play a multiplayer game. And this is where the game gets very interesting. Because when competing with a friend for the high scores, it gets very intense. And it comes down to the wire, where sometimes a simple mini-game will make or break somebody's score.
Stand there and watch people play and like either beat your score or come really close to it or like talk smack to them while they're playing it. That's just like, it's really fun. It's kind of like playing horse in basketball or something, you know.
The multiplayer is pretty cool. It's basically competing on who can kill the most and gather up the best score out of the best shots that you get out of your deer. And they also have the bonus rounds where you can also try to compete in to get most of your best kills in. So the multiplayer, I think, is what add on that makes it more fun for the people to play instead of making it that, you know, that one person you're just competing against yourself.
To be completely honest, I have never underestimated a game more than with Big Buck Hunter 2. When I first saw this game in the arcade, I thought, wow, this is probably a really stupid shooting game made for some country hick. But honestly, it makes a country hick out of everybody. It's a super fun game to play. It's so simple to pick up. But it does have its flaws. Big Buck Hunter 2, it just is not always spot on when it comes to the accuracy of the gun. And as a result, it's going to get a 4 out of 5. So, until next time, I'm Michael V, and this has been Arcade Guts.
Welcome to Big Buck Hunter. It's time to go hunting. Let's go hunting.
I'm Sarah Palin.
The West.